I started my property business in the summer of 2016 when I finished university.
This is a house which we were turning into 2 flats. So this is the property. That's our flat just on the side here.
But since then, I've been able to build a £3 million business. Obviously, there is some luck involved in this. I'm not going to take all the credit, but these are my tips on how you can do the same. When I was starting out, I read the books and I went to the courses and the networking events and all those sort of things. A lot of people spoke about this concept of investing with no money. So these might be things like lease options and option agreements. And I tried it half-heartedly because I was never really sure if this was actually going to work for me. I was never really confident about this. I wasn't really too keen on stuff which needed no money. I remember someone called me, this was a few months after I finished university, and he was selling a course. He was trying to tell me how I could buy an office building and turn it into 20 apartments and I could just raise £500,000 from investors. I was like, there's no way on earth someone's gonna give me £500,000 when I know nothing about property. And so anything which was too big at the same time, I ruled out and I scrapped stuff which was like this stuff which doesn't require any money whatsoever. What you're left with is stuff which requires a low investment. So for example, when I started out, I was renting flats and then I would just put them onto Airbnb. So I would rent for like, let's say £1,000 a month, and I would put this onto Airbnb for £2,500 a month, £3,000 a month. To rent a flat would only cost about a few £1,000s. And I just felt that when it comes to raising money and working with other people, I've just finished university, I'm 21 years old. I think it's significantly easier trying to raise £2,000 compared to me trying to raise maybe £300,000 or even £50,000. So what I started doing was I used this sweet spot of finding strategies which required very little investment, and I started doing a lot of that, and that gave me the money to then later go on to buy investment properties myself. So when I started my Airbnb business, every time I did something, I would just post this onto Facebook. And I would just post on there, and I don't know how many months, like a year of posting about everything I was doing. Some people started to find out about who I was, what I was doing, and then this lady called me and she said, would you like to speak at my property event in Wolverhampton? And that is how I got my first ever public speaking engagement.
This is where it began. Anyone see that clearly?
The first talk I did was like pretty terrible. It wasn't the best, but on the back of that talk, I then had another talk in Bournemouth, Swindon, and then Blackfriars, and then Leeds, and all over the country. That basically led to two good things. The first one, because so many people found out what I was doing, who I was, and if I then wanted to get help from someone, because they knew who I was, it was much easier for me to connect to them. So it opened a lot of doors when it came to picking people's brain. From a networking point of view, there wasn't like anything better. The second thing it did was it made raising money easy, because especially if you speak on stage or if you have some sort of credibility attached in some sort of way. So raising money, once I started doing public speaking, was never an issue. The fact that I could pick people's brains and the fact that I could raise money, they solved like two huge problems when it comes to building a property business. Because when you're trying to do more deals or when you're trying to do bigger deals, those two things are the big limitations. So if you're starting out and you have this focus of, I'll do these low investment strategies, just get going and build some sort of momentum, and then I will build my brand at the same time to slowly learn new things and raise money, then I really don't think how you can screw up. There is some element of luck involved in business. I think any sort of success is 50% hard work and 50% luck. And so there is that element, but I think it massively increases your chances of, success.